Okay, well,
That's pretty cool. Then the other one's like, and then they get the government as quickly as fucking possible.
let me guess, the government's trying to quarantine them.
No, they're not. It's just a cute little thing. It's not gonna get that fucking detailed.
Okay, cool. But nonetheless, ooh, let me just put up a buffer volume just a little bit, so you're not having my voice at like full blast. Anywho, I'm basically trying anything at this point. Alright, you cunts. There we go. So, I'm basically going to explain my story. Excuse me while I take a quick refresh to make sure nothing else has changed. Alright, cool. Okay, as you can tell from the description, it's your basic standard introduction. Again, I'm still not good at... I still have no idea what I'm doing with self-advertising. But either way, I'm just going to go run through a few basic things and explain it. So anyways, the description reads out... I'm just basically doing this for, I guess, I don't know, aesthetic, just to help clear my mind, to go with the flow. I don't know, I'm just going to read it. Anyway, me and my siblings go out one day, and while we're hanging out, we end up finding, to figure out what we find, and to figure out what you'll see, you'll have to end up reading it once I'm able to get enough money to actually be able to fucking digitally render it, I swear. Don't need a lot, just need to figure out how to make some cash. Anywho, and brought it home back up with us. Upon its inspection, we activated and end up opening a portal that sucks us into Undertale. Now we have to cope with our new lives as we handle the do's and don'ts of no longer being human, living underground, trying to make a living, along with finding a way back home, and the nightmare insanity that is the resets, which is fairly accurate to what the fuck's gonna be happening to us. But nonetheless, I'm basically just gonna go, I need to figure out how to fix this. But nonetheless, I'm basically just gonna go through everything. This is basically a standard comic. I don't have everything up there yet. But nonetheless, this first image is, well, as you can tell, Kara and Frisk. And yes, in my version, Kara does actually come back. She's not evil. She's not good. We're just gonna put her closer into the category of, like, just neutral. This is them at the ages of, I want to say between like 18 to like 21. They're both fully grown and everything, fully matured. This isn't gonna be how they look in the finalization. This is just like a beta form or like a rough sketch. So it would have turned out much better, but the problem was the paper I was using when I sketched this, come to find out I was allergic to, and it had ended up causing the skin on my hand near my pinky to slightly dry, crack, and break out just a little bit. Not like pimples and zits, but it was very uncomfortable to use my drawing hand for a couple of hours. The breakout wasn't super bad because I didn't keep using the paper for that long, but still, once I learned this, I had to immediately stop using the paper. Nonetheless, on to the next image. This is Kuro Usagi. I keep saying oh, it's U. Anywho. Which, yes, it is Black Rabbit in Japanese. Anywho. She is, well, me. She's the current royal scientist in the underground due to upon me and my siblings entering, we don't 100% sync up with the timelines in the first few numbers of attempts of getting into the Undertale universe. Now note, this is not her finalized form. Again, all of these images you are going to see are early rough drafts. They're not finalizations. Well, I don't know about my brother's drawings, as you can tell the difference between his art style and my art style. I don't know if his are all final rough drafts, but mine are not. Anywho. Fucking commercials. As you can clearly state, not everything about her is on here, but still, as you can clearly see, she's closer in style and look to like Mettaton, due to the fact that she looks more like an automaton. Even though, I guess once I finish with her new updated version, she'd probably look more closer to a cross between a FNAF animatronic and a Doulahan. I don't think that's the most accurate yet still accurate description of her. Anywho, you can see her. This was just a fancy outfit I found online. I wanted to sketch her in it, so I just sketched her in it. And this is actually her work clothes, which is what the heck you're going to see her in more often, along with the boot heels. Her alternative hairstyles, other expressions, how her eyes look with magic, and basically how her other eye looks. The crack will be explained as the story goes along. This is one of my brother's OCs in the thing known as Dragon Phantasm. He technically is the... Oh, wait, I just forgot something. Each character that's going to be put into here is going to have an equivalent character from the standard Undertale universe that they're going to be based off of. She is based off of Gaster, as you probably could already tell. Or probably not, I don't know. Anywho, this is Dragon Phantasm. He's supposed to be the equivalent and basis off of Azrael through all of his forms. Yes, he even has a small goat child form, but he's not a sweet Babaloo boy like Azrael is. He's a little shit. In all forms, he's a piece of shit, but in no form or fashion is he a sweet little Babu. Okay, this displays 3 different characters, which is my brother, which is my brother's OC, Maelstrom. Another one of his OCs, Neotem, and Blazing Drake.
Why does Rabbit and Owl not look like actual stuffed animals? I'm so confused. Like everybody else looks like little cute little stuffed animals, but then Rabbit and Owl are like straight up predator mode over here, and then fucking an actual rabbit.
For all we know, Rabbit and Owl could have actually been Christopher Robin's pet owl and pet rabbit. We don't know.
That's how it be what it do sometimes. And Amy is up. She's just being lazy in the bed.
Okay. Okay. This is my brother Maelstrom. As you could probably hear him in the background.
Whispering into the microphone.
Because the microphone needs my sultry, sexy voice.
Get like a sausage patty or some shit and put it on the sizzler and just do that. I listen to the shit out of that. Oh, pitch an idea.
What?
Paul Blart, Time Cop. Let's get it on. Let's get it on for record. Paul Blart, Time Cop. We need that. Greatest movie would sell for millions.
Oh god, you're a lunatic. Anywho. This is my, I'm gonna keep repeating this like 300 times. But anyway, this is my brother Maelstrom's, super form, because as you can tell from his last
character, do not steal.
Because as you can tell, if you've seen the last video, you can tell that he's much much different in style and look than his unpowered form, due to the fact of, well, first off, he's not armored up like he is, and you can actually see the scales of his other arm. Also, he has fingers. He still doesn't have feet, but he has fingers. Ooh, that's new.
He doesn't have feet, but he's got fingers. Oh no! Oh no, he's got fingers.
My brother is technically supposed to be a play on Asgore, the king of the underground, but we don't actually take their places. We're just their, I would technically say their data equivalent. I'm not saying we're solely just comprised of that data, but we're their data equivalent, technically, in the Undertale EU. If like in the Spooftale EU, if like we were physically to if we were physically going to take their place, there would physically be no difference of slots of how many people's places would be taken. Even though some mobs, some of the smaller mobs and mods, no, not mods, just mobs. Some of the smaller mobs would also shift a little bit, but nonetheless, excuse me, my nose it just. But nonetheless, he's supposed to be a play on King Asgore. Even though he behaves like a few other characters, which you'll start to see as the story goes along. This is another one. This is Neotem, which is another one of my brother's characters. Again, these are original OCs that he's created, that he's adapted to this universe. Anyway, Neotem, out of all of them, is the only one who can speak somewhat normally, but also still somewhat sound like a Tem. He is constantly terrorized by these two and some of the other Tems in the universe, along with my sister's OC, but, you know. This is Blaze, and also, as you can tell, he kind of takes place of Tem/Bob. This is Blaze and Drake. He takes the place of... Bro, what the heck was Blaze and...
He takes the place of Undyne as my best friend and Royal Guardsman.
Yep, he takes the place of Undyne. Why the hell did I keep forgetting that? Wait, I think I wrote him down incorrectly in the book to keep track of. Did I write him down correctly? Blah 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 blah. No, I wrote him down correctly. But no, yeah, he's supposed to take place of Undyne due to his role and equivalent is supposed to be Undyne due to the fact that they're both incredibly strong and incredibly strong-willed. But unlike Undyne, he's not a javelin user. He uses bows and arrows. Even though originally his form, he uses mostly guns. But since they don't 100% have guns except for the yellow soul, he kind of is stuck with a bow and arrow, which actually ain't half bad. Again, Flowey does not get replaced by Dragon Phantasm. It's just his data temporarily gets corrupted and borrowed by Dragon Phantasm. Flowey still exists, it's just the fact that they just both not only terrorize other people, but they also annoy the shit out of each other, which is amusing as fuck. He is something for later. He comes in the installments in the future. In the future. SpongeBob memes. No joking. Anywho, this is Heat, or I sometimes like to call a little bit. This is the OC for my another one of my younger sisters. I have like 3 younger sisters. One's in the hospital and 2 that are still living with me for I don't know how long. But nonetheless, this is for the littlest one this is for the second littlest one that's with us. She is she is actually supposed to be the equivalent for Frisk. Now note, her soul isn't purely red, but still, she's supposed to be the character equivalent for Frisk. She still does live in the underground with us and with the rest of me and my siblings, but still. She's actually supposed to be the character equivalent for Frisk, because even though she's small, she packs quite a punch, but she doesn't realize her full potential until plotline A, B, and C happen, then C, D, and F happen, and then G, H, and I happen, and then shit hits the fan, and everyone becomes Peter Pan. No one becomes Peter Pan, I'm just making up rhymes at this point. But either way, you have her Snowdown outfit. Currently, this is one of her older forms. You see her in her Snowdown outfit. You see her in her Hotland outfit. The scarf is permanent with all the little templates and the stickers, expressions. Even though she's supposed to be the equivalent of Frisk, she also sometimes does the papyrus thing where she goes like, "I am Heat, the cute and adorable," which is so retarded. And fucking adorable. Again, my brother's other form, again, my brother Maelstrom, and again, he is colored this time, with his son, Monster Dude, which, again, as you can tell, he's supposed to be the equivalent for Monster Kid. Even though I don't know why in the world he didn't give his son, like, magic arms, but you know what? Fuck it. Even though he's supposed to be the equivalent of Asgore, he's got a lot of blue, but whatever. He do what he do. Everyone knows about Mettaton. These forms are not finalized of how I interpret Muffet and Grillby's. Also, I don't even have these images anymore. I mean, I have the images. They're saved. They're digitally saved somewhere because I scanned them, but I don't have the physical images anymore. They got ruined in an unfortunate coloring accident. I had them and they were so good and nice, and they were almost done. And then tragedy struck with an excitable 8-year-old. This is Whitney, or as her nickname implies, Whiplash, due to the fact of, unlike most succubi, she doesn't really have wings like that. I guess what I would say is that she technically substituted her wings for like a whip-like tail. She can make it grow and shrink to like normal length, or she can make it expand to like god-awful lengths and just whip you. She's supposed to be a play on the tailless whip scorpion of Australia, which, if you guys do not know what the heck those things are, Google them. They're not poisonous, but the way they look is basic nightmare fuel. But no, Whitney is actually supposed to be the technical mob equivalent to Muffet, if I'm correct. Yeah, she's supposed to be the mob equivalent to Muffet due to the fact she also sells goods and goods, as you can see from here and here. But it's the reason why heck my story is technically 18 or over. This isn't her final design nor look, but still, she sells goods and goods. Mettaton and my younger sister, which they're actually supposed to, which the reason I drew them together is because that's who the fuck they're supposed to be each other's equivalent. Problem is, this is not her final form, and I kind of screwed up on it when I was hand sketching it, but nonetheless, doesn't matter. Trial and error, as I always say. Plus, also, I didn't really have a gist of how I'm going to draw bigger and thicker girls due to the fact my sister's a very lovely shaped plus size female, so I didn't know how to draw them at this stage of my art, so I now get to go back and try the fuck again. Huzzah! This is Jeffrey. I sound like a moron, but nonetheless, they're supposed to be the Jeffrey is actually an extra who's actually supposed to be considered a vendor. Due to the fact that they have the ability to sell you goods and other things like that. Not only that, if you choose to ask for, because this is where the slight variations between Spooftale and Undertale start kicking in, that's really start making it an AU other than just a self-insert. Jeffrey has the ability to take the thing that they did from Deltarune, which was select how your character looked, and put it into this version, put it into this AU due to the fact of, since Jeffrey, as you can see, is a hairstylist and a tailor from the magically floating needles and the threads of ribbon. they have the ability to somewhat change your appearance to make it harder for Undyne to find you. Undyne still finds you, but it makes it a bit more difficult. And due to the fact Jeffrey really doesn't have any like violent beef against anyone living on the surface, they have no qualms helping you. And they genuinely don't 100% care. It's just like, they're basically like, if you got a good sense of fashion, don't give a fuck. Good sense of taste, you're a decent person, you pay well, don't give a fuck. You could be a conqueror of worlds, don't give a fuck. This is Whitney colored. Again, very old art. Kind of crappy, but I still love it. Alright. This is the pages in their pencil format. I only managed to get a few pages up there. Again, if you saw the last video, you saw me trying to render this one. But my drawing tablet is a little piece of shit. But it's all I got. So as you can see, here are the normal pages. This is something I just simply sketched due to the fact of technically this is going to be how my character looks when people come to ask extra questions about how everything in the world works. I mean, yeah, you have the basic template of how Undertale works, but Spooftale throws in a few kinks and wrenches in there that I like to keep just a bit secret. I mean, I have to keep some intrigue. Okay, this is a old versus new sort of sketch comparison of me drawing my little sister and myself in our still Spooftale universe, but the Swapfell version. Due to the fact of I already technically figured out how each of our characters are going to be in Underswap, Underfell, Swapfell. I guess this is technically Swapfell Red, or is it Gold? Shit. And I guess Outertail. There's a lot of AUs me and my bro have been sitting down and theorizing about how we'd look. But either way, as you can tell, due to a sort of magic science fusion accident in the lab, I've turned and fused into her shadow. I've become a being of an entirely made of darkness and ooze that comes out whenever she needs me and slaughters people, which is more apparent in this version. Technically, I'm like her Venom. If we want to put it into if we want to put it into a good retrospect, everyone can kind of get behind. I'm technically her symbiote. I'm technically Venom. I don't encase her, but I do live in her shadow, due to the fact I'm physically made of magical darkness. Still really like the way it turned out. This is a more updated sketch of Jeffrey and Metaton. Oh, look at my beautiful little queens as they sit there having tea and coffee. I found these outfits scrolling through. I was either searching through the internet. I was either searching through Google for something, or I was on Tumblr. But I found these outfits and I was like, Metaton and Jeffrey have to wear these. There's no way in fuck they can't. Ah, that afro. I'm so glad I drew it. It's just all big and foofy. Ooh, just look at them. They're so fucking fabulous. I could cry. I physically could cry. That shit took me forever to draw everything from the everything just from how they're positioning to the table to even the chairs. I'm not good with backgrounds. To even the fucking concrete to the sky. Because I use everything from marker to Sharpie to color pencil to fucking brush pen to gosh darn paint. Willow charcoal. More marker. Paint. Color pencils. I think this is also paint in the background. More brush marker. Color pencil. Sharpie. Color pencil. Because I used Prismacolor, brush pens, Sharpies, paint. I already said this all before, but either way, this sweet little fucker took me a couple of days. And also, I had a Prismacolor blending pencil, so it smoothed out some of the lines and fixed some of the things. But oh boy, it took me a fucking minute. A sketchbook preview of Frisk and Kara in their childhood forms. Anatomy. I do not know anatomy, so I broke their foot. Anywho. But nonetheless, usual stick. 2 stripe, 1 stripe. Blue, purple, yellow, green. Stick, knife. You play as them, they punish you. Simple gist. Oh yeah. And then the simple gist. Heart locket, the locket. I realize I have not posted the images of the other children, but nonetheless, that's what my coffee is for, and my Patreon, as you can see right here. You can support me from now on. I really gotta stop trying to ad-lib. Nope, I went too far. Shit. But no, it'd really mean a lot to me if you guys would help out, even the slightest bit. Oh, shit, I got 2 more views. 2. God damn it, my math is all over the place. I got 3 more views. It was originally 88, now it's 91. Anyway. I really do hope you guys help and support me. Especially if you like it. If not, I don't know, send it to a friend who you might think might like it. Anywho, again, I still don't have an intro or an outro, so bye.